Tom Painter. Thanks for watching. One of the questions from the students is about the 4 different ways to invest in long-term stock. So we want to talk a little bit about that. And specifically, the questions about dollar cost averaging. And what does that mean and why is that important and how does it work? Okay, so let's jump into it. The first thing I want you to do is I want you to be able to go to the book. You know, one of the great things we have is I'm giving away the books that I've written. The books are free. That I did those as a benefit to you to help you get going. And so when you go to the successmoneyfoundation.org, simply go to courses and then pull it down to the free books and downloads. And the 7 Steps to Wealth book is right there. Step number 4 is to automatically invest. And I want to spend a little bit of time going through. Now, you can get the hard copy of this book for our cost on it at Amazon. They're $10 is all. There's 122 color illustrations to it. And so just go search Success and Money, 7 Steps to Wealth, or Success and Money and Tom Painter, and you can be able to find it from there. But when you go there, step number 4, we get into the automatic invest. And I want to spend just a minute really talking about the automatic invest and really some pieces to that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the dollar cost averaging. And the big part on here that I want you to go down to is, of course, chapter number 26. Chapter number 26 is the 4 ways to invest in the stock market and Berkshire Hathaway. So that's kind of the piece that I want you to go to, but there's great reading on this and there's some extra classes on here. But when you think about the stock market, there's 2 components. So step number 4 is to automatically invest. Make the decision once, have it automatically pulled out of your checking account on a monthly basis into your investment account. And then have it automatically invested in the S&P 500, which is the 500 largest companies in America, or the Berkshire Hathaway, BRK, which are my 2 favorite. Now, you're going to loan and own. You're going to loan money to people and you're going to own things. When you put money into your savings account, you're loaning money to the bank. Guess what? They're not paying you anything for it. They're taking your money and they're saying, thank you. And they're loaning it back out at a higher rate. Now, if you've got money on a credit card with them, they took your money out of your checking account and they loaned it back to you on your credit card, and they're whacking the crap out of you with fees. Okay, that just sucks. So you're going to loan money to people. You're going to loan money to banks. You're doing it right now. If you got money in your account, you're loaning money to them because they're taking it and making money off of you. You can loan by getting into a bond. A bond is a longer term, like a certificate of deposit, or a loan where you can loan money to companies, to corporations, to governments. And you can get like a 4 or 5% rate of return on that. It's very solid. It doesn't move. You know, for every, I say I got $100 in there and you say, I'm going to get a 5% rate of return. You know that by the end of the year, you're going to make $5 on it. You're going to make a 5% rate of return. Now, the problem with a lot of banks is that they say, well, if you take the money out early, we're going to whack you. We're going to take half your interest away. So that's why putting a big chunk of money into a long-term savings account or a long-term certificate of deposit in a bank is okay, but it's not great. What you need is an investment account. You need an investment account because they're going to pay this is based on a 7-day average in many cases. So that's why we like investment accounts. Now, as an investment account, you're going to have two types. Number 1 is just a pure investment account that's a personal investment account that you can buy stocks or you can buy bonds, purchase bonds. The other one is a retirement account. And the retirement account is just for taxes. So many governments around the world want you to be better off. They don't want you to be on their welfare rolls. They got enough problems. So they've encouraged you to start investing on your own. So you can have a regular investment account and you can have a retirement account. And in America, we have 2 kinds. One is just a regular individual retirement account, or an IRA or a 401k, and they give you some tax benefits today to put that money into that account. And when you put, it's just like any other account. You know, when you open up a savings account, the only thing you can do with that is give them money and earn a little bit of interest. Okay. When you open up an investment account, you can earn a little bit of interest, and you could also own a little bit of companies' stock. And so that's what an investment account is. There's 2 types of investment accounts. One is just a personal one. Hey, I'm just going to put money in personally. Or number 2 is I want to put money into a retirement account for some tax savings. And a regular IRA or a 401k, they give you some tax breaks today. That's the plus. The negative is you got to pay all kinds of taxes when you take it out at the highest rates. That sucks. We don't want to do that. What we do if the 401k is matching what we're putting in. The second piece to that would be what we call a Roth IRA. And again, all over the world, you got different names for these things, but a lot of the strategies are the same. And a Roth is you don't get any tax break today, which is fine. But I never, ever, ever have to pay any taxes on any of the money. Ever. Ever. And that's going to compound to a big, huge amount. If you got money into a regular IRA account, you can roll it over into a Roth IRA. You got to pay tax on it when you pull it out. But then guess what? You can take all that money and let it grow tax-free. Now, there's 4 ways to invest in the stock market. So there's the loan versus own. So you can loan money to people on a bond, on a certificate of deposit, or a municipal bond or a government bond, or you can own things. Now, there's 4 ways to do that. Number 1 is you can pick and choose. You can pick and choose the different stocks that you put it into. Now, out of $100 that you've got, or 100% of whatever you've got, that's asset allocation. You're going to say, well, I'm going to take 20% of that and put it into bonds, and then I'm going to take the other 80% and I'm going to put it into stock or equities. Now, pick and choose, you lose. Now, I've done a lot of stock trading. $40-50 million for the stock trading. Well, I got to see what that number is. It's a big number, $10-15 million in trades. I don't know what it was, a lot. By the time I was done, I lost. So you pick and choose, you lose. Now, if you want to take 10% of your assets and pick and choose, well, great, go do that. Then I would say you take a big chunk of it, and you can put it into a mutual fund where you hire a professional. The only thing you got to look at the small print is that they're going to charge you fees. And sometimes those fees just eat away to everything. They're going to take 1.5% to 2% of your money under management. So if there's $100 in there that they're managing, they're going to take $2 of that as a fee. Well, if you only made $6, 6% rate of return, well, they took a third of it. So the fees are really kind of terrible. You can do better if you just put it into the S&P 500. The S&P 500 is the 500 biggest companies in America. They're publicly traded. And when you invest in the S&P 500, you're not picking and choosing. You're just picking the 500 biggest. They're just the big 500 biggest. And so the fees are really, really low. So over time, the S&P 500 outperforms the vast majority of mutual funds. One of the reasons is just because of the fees, which outperforms the picking and choosing. You pick and choose, you lose. Now, the other one that we really like is Berkshire Hathaway. Now, why Berkshire Hathaway? And again, I'm not telling you what to do with your money. I'm just telling you what I do with my money. And what we do with the foundation's money. So Berkshire Hathaway, the reason we like it is it's a stock and there's no cost, there's no fees. There's a small commission when you buy it, when you invest in it, but there's no fees after that. And so that's why it has outperformed the S&P 500. So if you've got $100 worth of asset allocation, take a little bit, put it into loan for long-term bonds that's stable. Boom, it's stable. The other ones you can put into equities. Now, equities are more of a roller coaster. They go up and they go down. Why? Because of supply and demand. It's all supply and demand. You have cash, you have bonds, you have real estate, you have these different assets out there, and people are chasing them. Supply and demand. So if there's a lot of people chasing after real estate, a lot of people want to buy the real estate, then the prices go up. There's a lot of demand and not as much supply. When the interest rates went from 3% to 6%, now the people that could afford it went down dramatically. And as a result, the supply-demand curve changed. Now the demand went way down, so the pricing went down as well. And the same is true with stocks versus bonds or anything else. So there's that supply and demand thing that you need to look at. But over time, the S&P 500 has outperformed mutual funds because of the fees. In addition to that, the Berkshire Hathaway's outperformed both of those because of the low fees. And I think they're better long-term investments. And the S&P and Berkshire kind of look like each other because Berkshire has so many different companies that they own and so many different things that they invest in. Now, there's a thing called dollar cost averaging. And if you don't like getting on the roller coaster, you say, I'm not getting on the roller coaster. When I go to the amusement park, when we go to Disneyland, guess what? When I was a kid, I used to ride the roller coaster. I used to go on the crazy, crazy rides. Guess what I do now? I'm 65. I had 2 back surgeries. My legs hurt all the time. I rent a scooter and I just basically go around the park in my scooter because my legs hurt a lot. So I've got off the roller coaster. Now, some of this meeting at the park, I don't have to go ride the crazy rides. Um, if you buy it and invest into a bond, it's just going to be straight, boom, straight. I'm going to get 5% rate of return on it and it's straight. But if you invest long-term stocks, many years it'll do 10 to 12%. The rule 72 says that if you take the number 72 and you divide the interest rate into it, or the amount appreciation, the percent, if you have 72 and you divide a 6% rate of returns, making 6% on it, it's going to take 12 years, or 6 times 12 equals 72. If you are making 12% on your money, 12 times 6 equals 72, so it takes 6 years. So these big investment conferences I go to, they talk about how long, they talk about multiplier. They're talking about how do you take $1 and turn it into 2? How do you take $1 and turn it into 3? And how many years does that take? The rich are getting richer because they are multiplying their money faster than other people. Most people have millions of, as a group, millions of dollars sitting in the bank getting you 0%. Me included. I got operating money and it's not making me any money, which is stupid. The bank's taking my money and they're making money off of me. And then they make me feel stupid when I go in there. But dollar cost averaging, let's talk about dollar cost averaging. When Buffett gets real excited is when there's blood in the streets. He likes chaos. He likes it when stuff is going down. He likes good businesses at a fair price. He loves wonderful businesses at a fair price. He loves wonderful businesses at a great price. Supply and demand. When people are scared, they're skeptic, they're getting out of the market. Now there's less demand. As a result, the value of that stock goes down. So dollar cost averaging is you just buy. You just keep buying every month. Buffett says, I can't time this. I can't tell you where this is going to be next week. People say I'm gonna go day trade this stock, or well, guess what? I did a lot of that and I lost. Buffett did a lot of that and he lost. He says the real key is to buy wonderful businesses at great prices and then get out of their way and do nothing. Charlie Munger says some of the best things we would have done is if we would have just sat on our hands and not did a thing. And that's really true. So dollar cost averaging, you're buying all the time. Every month you're just buying. And when the stock's high, you get less number of shares. When the stock is lower, you're buying more shares. I don't care of the value of a stock as I care about how many shares of stock I have. What I really want the stock to be is I want it to be worth more money in 5 years from now or 10 years from now. Now, why is stock going to be worth more in the future? This is the greatest thing you can do is predict the future. The way you learn how to predict the future, study the past. Well, the governments of the world can't balance their budget. They're spending too dang much money on stuff. So what do? They print more money. They create more currency. As a result, we call that inflation. And if you know what it's cost, rent's gone up, food's gone up, gas has gone up, everything's gone up because it's inflation, because there's more money out there. They're printing more money to pay their bills. It's inflation and it's crushing you. You're not making enough money, and step number 5 is to save and spend. You're getting crushed. You've got to get money into step 4. You've got to get money into long-term investing. We can appreciate it. Real estate is going up in value. And if you can control a whole bunch of real estate with a small amount of money, then that is going to give you appreciation and you'll be able to do really well. That's one of the ways I made my fortune. That's how Kiyosaki, all these other guys have done it. It's done it with real estate. Because stuff is going to be more expensive in the future because of inflation. The other side of that coin is appreciation, because we appreciate it if it goes up in value. And so all you got to do is go back and say, well, this, you look at a house 20 years ago and then you look at it today. Well, what's the difference in the house? It's the same house, but it's probably 3 or 4 times more money. When I was a kid mowing lawns, when I was 14, 15, gas was 25 cents a gallon. Well, now it's 10 times that. It's 15 times that. Okay. It's inflation. So dollar cost averaging, you just buy it every month. And again, I don't care if it's going up or down. The advantage of it when the price is low is you buy more shares. The key is to have more shares than not. And the goal is to have your money go up in value, and you're looking to long term. Now, if you don't like the roller coaster, get off it. If you don't want to make 7 to 12% rate of return over a long period of time, stay out of the market. Just go buy bonds. Get on the scooter. Don't go ride the merry-go-round. Get off the roller coaster. But if you like to make a better rate of return, you got to jump on the roller coaster. That's dollar cost averaging. Thanks for watching, everybody. We're going to be right back with our next class. Make a difference, make it happen. Every life is